So, good evening, everybody. And let us start the speech practice. Tomorrow is the event, Expressions. The venue is Boring Road, and timing is, it will be between 1 and 6. So, you have nothing to worry about. It will be there in your classroom, in your schedule. So, let us call the final practice today before we take on each other tomorrow in a inter-branch competition. Inter-branch, and here's wishing you all the very best. I would like to call whom to call. There are so many people who would like to present today. So can you raise your hands confidently? Yes, very good. Come on stage, Satvik. So the scores will be, I will be scoring you today, and at the end of the session, I will tell you who is selected and who is rejected. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Respected ma'am and my dear friends, a very good evening to you all. Today I am present here to deliver my speech on the topic regarding post-COVID-19 socio-economic problems. Who had thought that a disastrous COVID would hit the globe and bring the unpredictable devastation? 62 lakh deaths, 51 crore positive cases, 200 million employment, 43% of businesses are closed. Is it end of the data? Is it end of the devastation? May we imagine the situation of persons who are persisting under the last months? May we imagine the situation of those persons who are in the body of that affected person? May we imagine the person who are feeding on the incomes of their jobs and small businesses? May we imagine the condition of families of the laborers who had lost their life beside the rails due to continuous walking with their empty stomach to their last hope, their home? Can't we say that's all are the outcomes of our bad deeds in return to the gratefulness of Mother Nature, either in terms of an unhealthy lifestyle, our unfriendly behavior towards our ecosystem, or our overwhelming greedy nature? As a consequence of the outbreak of this pandemic, social distance and the security measures affected the relationship among the people and their perception of empathy toward others. Many couldn't able to be a part of their happiness of their loved ones. Many couldn't even able to say a last bye to their loved ones due to this cruel pandemic. Research has highlighted the impact on psychological well-being of the most exposed groups, including the children, college students, and doctors, who are more likely to develop a post-traumatic stress, anxiety, depression, and other symptoms of stress. There is an old saying, there is a good in every evil. Being in isolation or alone, it has taught us to take care of ourselves, devote time to ourselves, identify ourselves, and appreciate ourselves. It has derived a different artist from each one of us, either in terms of making good art and craft, a musician, a vlogger, a cook, or a grandmaster in chess, or a ludo king. It made us to realize that we can make a better coffee than coffee shops, and playing game with family is not less interesting than playing with friends. Home workout, meditation is much more soothing than the artificial gym. Online education is the best way and most flexible way to upgrade your knowledge and your skills. COVID is not only a global pandemic and a public health crisis, it has also severely affected our economy and financial market. Significant reductions in income, risk of unemployment, disruptions in transportation, services, and manufacturing industries are the following consequences of these measures had taken by the government in order to mitigate its deadly spread. UN estimated that India has felt the impact of $350 million on its trade and over a loss of $29.9 billion. India's economy shrank 7.3% for the session 2020 to 2021. This was the worst performance of Indian economy since independence. Aviation and tourism, a great contributor of our economy, were affected the most due to following restrictions embedded by our government. Agriculture, being the backbone of our economy, was also not free because of the unavailability of human laborers and stopped manufacturing activities of agriculture inputs, which eventually affected the agriculture activities. As it is said, there is always a two sides of a coin. Apart from its devastation, it was proved a boon for healthcare sectors, digital sectors, and undoubtedly the IT sector, including e-retail, that is Gruffer, Big Basket, etc., food tech sectors, Zomato, Swiggy, and e-commerce sectors such as Amazon and Flipkart. Fintech startup and companies are not much behind and have shown a drastic growth by conveying us contactless and safe payment through the convenience of our home. Atmanirbhar Bharat Scheme 2020, which was a surprise buster that came from the COVID-19 economic package, which will help our country to become self-reliant and help our economy to march with rapid pace. Improvisation to our exposed health conditions, to support micro and small enterprises, to improve rural livelihood, modernization in tourism and hospitality, tech-enabled developments, energy transitions, and climate change will be the foremost priority of our economy to boost up our slothful economy. Everything may end tomorrow. Even when all this is over, Earth will continue to spin and life will continue to work. The question is whether by then we'll have learned our lesson. World's Environment Day, World's Health Day, World's Yoga Day, and many such once in a while days should not be the only day to appreciate our environment and nature. It should be incorporated in our daily habits. Let us be mindful to our earth and it will be kind to us. There is no rainbow without rain. Plague and corona may be the trailer. The choice is ours, not the decision. At last, I would like to conclude my speech with a poem titled We Will Unite. Who had thought that COVID would arrive, disturb the life of humans, and make hard their survive? We have had social distancing walks, social distancing picnics, social distancing walks, social distancing meets, and social distancing talks. Over the fruit of your deeds, you have no reason to weep. As you sow, so you reap. When we leave our ever unsatisfied grief and be serious and mature, when we give the return gift to the grateful Mother Nature, COVID would be ended, but is not the last fight. But if you all unite, we will win all the fights. Thank you and have a nice day.
Yes, Hardik, that was all very good. But be very careful. You have to end your speech within 3 minutes. And have you learned all these?
Yes, I have learned.
Yeah, very good. And there was Satvik Kumar, and next, your name is Satvik Kumar, no?
Yes.
Okay. And now I would like. Yeah.
My speech around 5 to 6 minutes duration.
So it has to be within the frame. 3 minutes.
Very hard.
I know it is very hard, but then try to give the most essential points. The points you would like to highlight. Right. And next we have Sunidhi Ranjan.
Good evening. Good evening to all the listeners. My name is Sunidhi Ranjan, and now I am representing a speech on the topic Decoding Post-COVID-19 Socio-Economic Problems. Coronavirus disease, which is also known as COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus. This virus had been first reported from Wuhan, the city of China, in December 2019. It had affected the life of human beings a lot. It had affected business, finance, trade, communities, economy, globally. This pandemic has resulted over 510 million confirmed cases and over 6 million deaths globally. Millions of people are at risk of falling into extreme poverty, while the number of undernourished people are estimated around 619. Social distancing, self-isolation, and travel restriction lead to a reduced workforce across all economic sectors and cause jobs to be lost. Border closure, trade restriction had prevented the farmers from accessing the market, including buying the inputs and selling their outputs. Schools have been closed down, and the demand for commodities and manufactured products has been decreased. The social and economical breakdown caused by the pandemic is devastating. Currently, all of us are in the situation, thoughts, emotion we had never experienced before. It is not that there were no pandemic earlier. Pandemic, particularly plague, cholera, were the highlights of 19th century. Subsequently, there had been the outbreak of SARS, MERS, Ebola, etc. But COVID-19 is on completely different scale. It has shaken the entire world and created global panic. But as we all know that everything have both negative and positive aspects. Same with COVID-19, as it's shown its negative side, but we can't ignore its positive side also. During COVID-19, we came to know about new technologies. We came to know about work from home, the crime rate, the pollution rate had been fallen down. The people who were migrant in other cities, they came back to their hometown and started their own business. So I would like to sum up by saying that we have to keep our mind positive. We have to stay mentally strong so that we can overcome from any situation in our life. So stay strong, stay happy, and think positive because there is always a rainbow after every storm. I hope you all enjoy listening to. Thank you.
So, Sunidhi, your topic was COVID-19 socio-economic problems. No? Did you deal with socio-economic problems?
I have not went statistical charts. I just went
Overall.
Overall and logical.
Next, we have Roshni. Very good. तुम्हें याद है क्या कर लोगे नाम काटते तुम्हारा मेहनत बर्बाद हुआ तुम्हारा स्नेहा जायसवाल स्नेहा मैंने क्यों लिखा फिर श्रेया
A very good evening to my respected teachers and my dear friends. My name is Shreya Jaiswal. I am a BCA student. Today I deliver the speech on the topic of decoding post of COVID-19 on socio-economic problems. They call it coronavirus, I call it beer virus. How do you like them? It is the largest category for a RNA virus. In most cases, it is difficult to detect if coronavirus or a different cold causing virus is causing you fever, known as COVID-19. The COVID pandemic has resulted in over 4.3 million confirmed cases and over 290,000 deaths globally. I had also sparked fears of an impending economic crisis and recession. In attempt to understand the turmoil effect on the economy, we summarize the effect of COVID-19 on individual aspects of the world economy, focusing on primary sectors, which includes industries involved in the extractions of raw materials, secondary sectors involved in the production of finished products, and tertiary sectors, including all service provision industries, agriculture and food security. While working to feed the world, many agriculture workers are unable to lift themselves out of poverty and food insecurity. As the pandemic escalates, the continued functioning of food supply chains is crucial in preventing a food crisis and reducing the negative impact of the global economy. Coordinated policy responses that are needed to support agribusiness and the livelihood and working condition of millions of agriculture workers in the line with relevant international labor standards. Now, COVID-19 on textile, clothing, leather, and footwear industries. The viability of the textiles, clothing, leather, and footwear industry is unraveling as workers are told to stay at home. Factories closed and global supply chains grind to a halt. The cancellations of orders has hit thousands of firms and millions of workers particularly hard. We urgently need solidarity and joint actions across the industry supply chains. The ILO is committed to supporting governments in protecting the health and economic well-being of workers and business in textiles, clothing, leather, and now on coming the education sectors. Teachers have had to adapt to a world of almost universal distance education as nearly 94% of all learners have faced school closures. Most teachers and their organizations have embraced these challenges, although in many developing countries, teachers lack of the skills and equipment to provide distance education effectively. As government consider reopening schools as confinement measures are relaxed, the safety of learners and teachers should be paramount. Access to personal protective equipment and regular virus testing will be key. Now come to the conclusion. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid touching your face and especially your mouth, nose, and eyes. Thank you.
It was 3 minutes or more than 3 minutes. ठीक है, अच्छा है, good. अनुराधा राज. नाम देना चाहते हैं? Right? वो हफ्ता से कर क्या रहे थे तुम लोग? आशीष कुमार सिंह.
Good evening, friends. My name is Ashish Kumar Singh, and I am here to give a speech on decoding post-COVID-19 social economic problems. COVID-19, caused by a new strain of coronavirus, arisen out of Wuhan city of China in December 2019, has been called a pandemic by the World Health Organization. It has created an unstable environment for individuals, loss of business activities, loss of employment, As on June 24, 2020, there are around 91,29,146 cases globally, out of which 4,73,797 lost their lives. India is on the fourth place in the number of confirmed cases and first in Asia. Total confirmed cases in India are 4,56,183, out of which 14,476 lost their lives mainly in the states Maharashtra and Delhi. India initially proclaimed a one-day Janta curfew on March 20, 2022, March 22, 2020. From there on, a total lockdown was reported in India at first for 21 days, which was extended to an additional 19 days, and after that, it got minor relaxation. There were relaxations to the agriculture sector during lockdown, but transport constraints, mobility restrictions, and lack of labor due to reverse migration of labor. The 50% contributor to the manufacturing sector, the automotive sector, was suffering due to low consumer demand, inadequate credit facilities, and more problems. Service sector, who has got the most important role to play in the crisis time, has also been having huge problems in India. Like aviation, transport, travel, and tourism are worst hit not only in India but globally. A report by KPMG indicates that around 38 million job losses are expected in India's travel, tourism, and hospitality industry. At last, I conclude this topic. Agriculture and allied sector have been hit disproportionately, with horticulture, poultry facing more brunt, but overall agriculture sector is seen as a bright spot and likely to get affected less as compared with loss occurred to other sectors. Thank you.
Done all this?
Uh,
Very good. Content of content is very good. Yes. Your name is there?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay, let me include your name there. Kumar Krishna.
Krishna Kumar.
Yes.
Can I start, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Now, my name is Krishna Kumar. Today, I am delivering on speech is decoding post-COVID-19 socio-economic problem. We all have been affected by COVID-19 pandemic. The name coronavirus comes from crown-like projection. The corona in Latin means crown. Coronavirus outbreak was first identified in Wuhan city, Hubei province, China. This virus spreads globally in exponentially wise, so WHO declares as a pandemic. COVID-19 has affected our day-to-day life and is slowing down the economy. This pandemic affected millions of people who are either sick or being killed due to this virus. The most common symptoms of this viral infection are fever, cold, bone pain, and you can say ultimately leading to pneumonia. This being a new viral disease affecting humans for first time. Country banned gathering of people and did lock down their population and enforcing strict quarantine. So due to this pandemic, whole worlds are totally changed. So I would like to add point on effect of economic sector which affected by COVID-19. The first is primary sector, because you can say agriculture sector. Agriculture sector is also affected because of mobility restrictions and lack of labors. Lack of labors are the major effects. And the secondary sector is manufacturing sectors. Manufacturing sectors is also affected because of low consumer demand. And the third sector is service sector, like bank, etc. This sector is also affected because of country did their ban their population, so this service can't be running. And I will add some socio problem like gender gap and inequality. You know, there is big gender gap in our world. There is more men are working and less women are working. So due to COVID-19, many men lost their jobs. So it affects our social economy. And the second point is health crisis. As per National Health Profile of India, India's expenditure on GDP is merely 1.28%, which is lower than the poorest country. So, and the third is domestic violence and crime. And according to latest report of NCW, within 25 days of lockdown, the crime is increased total 50%. And the fourth point is reverse of migration and reverse of migration, poverty, jobless, and last point is psychological impact and mental illness. And I will conclude my speech with some quote. Better to wear mask than a ventilator. Better to wear mask than a ventilator. Better to stay home than in ICU. Thank you.
Oh, that was very good, concise and precise and apt. Very apt. Very good.
Thank you. Anyone?
Next we have Rajat Ranjan. I told you I will not take no for an answer. Once if you have given your name will not be scratched. And the name जिनके हम काट रहे हैं आज, आप बाद में आप पछताएंगे कि क्यों हमने नाम कटवाया अपना. Because this is a platform which is going to enhance you, take you to the next level. Winning is not important, but yes, participating is.
Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Rajat Ranjan and I am here to deliver
Keep quiet.
a speech on decoding post-COVID-19 socio-economic problems. Coronavirus named 2019 novel coronavirus or COVID-19 by the World Health Organization. COVID-19 found in December 2019 near in Wuhan city, Hubei in China and spread rapidly across the whole world. The COVID-19 resulted almost 4.5 million positive cases and 3 lakh deaths. Pandemic caused a short-term physical impact and a long-term economic impact also. On this national around the world, social distancing, self-isolation, and so many restrictions have led to reduced employment, which decreased GDP of countries, and so many people will lose their jobs. Pandemic can also result in decline tax revenues and increase in expenditure, which causes physical stress. This economic impact severity was observed during the Ebola virus in Liberia due to the rise in public health expenditure. Economic downfall. Economic shocks are common during pandemics due to shortage of labor because of illness, rise in mortality. Other than labor shortage, disruption of transportation, close down of workplace, restricted trade and travel, and closed land borders are reasons for the pandemic economic. Rather than I can say that COVID virus is a huge disaster for all over the countries. Coming up to the conclusion, I would like to say COVID has also a positive perspective that the pollution is decreased during the COVID-19 time period. Thank you.
Now we have Anjali Kumari. For students, I'm audible anyways. People who are being late, they can be. नहीं बनेगा attendance. एक तो you should feel sorry about it. And you're delaying things.
Good evening, everyone. I am Anjali. For today's speech, my topic is decoding post-COVID-19 socio-economic problems.
1 minute. Are you prepared for tomorrow? Then why are you wasting time? Scratching your name. Shashank Raj. Prepared for tomorrow? टाइम वेस्ट मत कीजिए यहाँ पर आप लोग आकर के. Why did you come here at all?
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I'm Shashank Raj of BCA AKU batch. BCA AKU from Bridge batch is going to deliver a short speech on decoding post-COVID-19 on socio-economic problems. We all know the virus was first identified in December 2019 in Bihar, and after a month in
You
January.
have the script written? लिखा हुआ है?
Yes, ma'am.
Learned है? Little bit learned है.
Yes.
तो कल हो जाएगा तुमसे?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. शशांक राज के बाद आदर्श कुमार. Prepared? Are you confident tomorrow कर लोगे? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Come here. सुनाइए पहले. 2 मिनट 1 मिनट सुनाइए. बिना देखे हुए. चलिए.
Good evening, everyone, and my respected teacher. My name is Adarsh Kumar. I am from Brisbane, and the topic
Yeah, continue.
is decoding post-COVID-19 socio-economic problems. COVID-19 is also named as coronavirus, and it is a respiratory disease which caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Is first identified in Wuhan, China in December 2019.
Fine. Adarsh Kumar done. Ujjwal push.
Yes, ma'am.
1 minute.
A warm welcome to my respected teachers and my dear friends. I am Ujjwal First. I am standing in front of you to deliver a short speech on COVID-19 impact on social or economical problems. The COVID-19 pandemic has resulted over 4.3 million confirmed cases and over 2,19,000 deaths globally. It has also sparked stress on independent economic crisis and racism. Social distancing, self-isolation, and travel restriction have led to reduced workforce all across economic sector and caused many jobs to be lost.
All right, fine. Anand Gupta. Prepared? Can you make it tomorrow? नहीं हो पाएगा. देखिए कितने लोगों का नाम खड़ा है. आदित्य कुमार. Prepared? कल हो जाएगा. On 1 minute. ऐसे में नहीं बिना सुने थोड़ी करें. आपका ही क्लास होगा कल. आपके घर में लोग आ रहे हैं. You are going to be the host. So नाम जोड़ना बहुत आसान होता है. नाम कटवाना आप खुद डिमोटिवेटेड हो जाइएगा कि मेरा नाम, मैं अपने को इस लायक नहीं समझ रहा हूँ, मैं अपने आप को दूसरों से कम समझती हूँ, इसलिए मेरा नाम हटा दिया जाए. ये आप खुद अपने पैर में कुल्हाड़ी मारें. 3 हफ्ते से मैं ये बात कर रही हूँ. यस आदित्य कुमार. बिना देखे बोलो. यहाँ के बोलो. चलो जल्दी.
Hello everyone, I am Aditya and I am here to deliver my speech on decoding post-COVID socio-economic problems. As we all know, COVID has been started in November 2019 and after 3 or 4 months it spread all over the globe. Many people lost their lives, many people lost their jobs and so on things. It's not only about the loss of only lives, loss of jobs. It's also take many more things of us.
All right, good. बिना देखे आप बोलना कोशिश कीजिएगा बोलने का. राहुल कुमार शर्मा. पढ़ाना है बच्चों को. आप प्रिपेयर्ड हैं कल के लिए? प्रिपेयर्ड बोल दोगे कल? कॉन्फिडेंट? ओके देन सुनने की जरूरत मुझे नहीं है. आई लाइक सच पीपल. रामू कुमार कॉन्फिडेंट? 1 मिनट बोल दो. चलो तेरा मैंने नहीं सुनी, तुम्हारी कॉन्फिडेंस देख के मैंने सुनी.
Good evening.
रामू कुमार हरी आप कौन है? हाँ चलो सीखो ये सब.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ramu Kumar.
हेलो. हाँ
Good evening, respected teachers and dear friends. I would like to call.
किसको बुलाना थोड़ी है. प्रैक्टिकल संजना मैम आदत ही मेरी लगाई हुई है ना. आई वुड लाइक टू. हाँ चलो फिर से.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ramu Kumar. I'm going to share my view on post-COVID-19 socio-economic problems.
What happened? कल बोल हो गए ना. चलो जाओ. स्वाति कुमारी. Not there. नाम काट देती हूँ मैं. कौन है स्वाति कुमारी? Prepared or not? ये कुमारी जी लोग सोनम कुमारी या अंजलि कुमारी? हाँ? अंजलि. अंजलि कौन है? तुम नाम काटते हो तुम्हारा? अंजलि को काट रहे हैं हम. And Sonam Kumari is included. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Pakka. Now let me announce the students for selected. अभी जो हमने सुना है लोगों को, on the basis of what I heard today, students who are selected are Satvik Kumar, Sunidhi Ranjan, Krishna Kumar, Shashank Raj, Ujjwal Pushp, Aditya Kumar, Rajat Ranjan, Rahul Kumar Sharma, Ramu Kumar and Sonam Kumari. बोलना है तुमको. उदास हो गई ना मैं नाम नहीं बोले तो. चलिए श्रेया जायसवाल also. ठीक है मैंने लिखा हुआ है. मैं दूध चढ़ा रही थी. जिनको नहीं लिखने थे उनके नाम तो ऐसे भी मैं नहीं बोली. और ठीक है. Show the name. Show the name. Show.
Very hard work.
Come here. You are selected anyways.